any for today, right? So if you know anyone that needs to be in this section today, now, if you know anyone that is going to benefit from this section, feel free to reach out to the person that the section is starting now, that they can basically join in and then benefit from what we have for today, right? So let's do that. As I've said today, before we also move on, I would like to get to know everyone I have on the call with me, right? So if you don't mind, I would like us to put in our names and then where we are joining in from in the chat. So I'll be looking at the chat now to know who are going to be joining in today and where they are joining us from. So let's all do that. So your names and where you're joining in from. So I'm checking the chats now to see people, and I would like to get to know you guys basically. So your names, where you're joining us from. So he's going to break the ice. All right, so we have one person here. Um, we have Oyinda Mola from the UK. Nice to meet you, Oyin. So who else? Who else? The floor is opened. I see a lot of people here. You guys should put in your names. You don't want us to know you. Let's know where you're joining in from, basically. Just put in your name, where you're joining us from. All right, Omawumi from Nigeria. Nice to meet you, Omawumi. Emeka from Abuja. Emeka, nice to meet you also. Nice to have you on the call. So who else? Okay, while we wait for others to, we have Rachel from New T. New T. Okay, New Jersey, much better. But I was wondering where is New T, right? Okay, so New Jersey. Nice to meet you, Rachel, and nice to have you on the call today. Okay, so while we do that, so if today is your first time joining, if today is your first time joining any master class from 10 Analytics, just put in a one in the chat. If today is your first time joining, put in a one. And if you've joined any of our master classes before, put in any number. All right, we have one. We also have Bridget from Canada. Nice to meet you, Bridget. So we have Rachel a one, we have Amika a one. Nice to have you guys on the call. Omaomi a one. Nice, nice, nice. I'm happy to see lots of ones. All right, we have Jume let me spell the name. Omatosi, Omoshe something one. Sorry about that, basically. We have Oyin one. We have David from the UK also. Nice to meet you, David, and also a one. Seems like we have so many ones in today. That's a great one. And I'm happy to see that a lot of people are joining in for the first time, right? So if since today is first time, so put in, don't forget to fill the feedback form that my colleagues is going to be dropping in the chat. So that then the main reason for that is because so that I can get the recording for the section and then the slide we are going to be using to teach. And so that you can be able to go through them on your leisure time. Right. So don't forget to fill the feedback forms. You'll be seeing that in the chat here. My colleague is going to be dropping that. So feel free to fill that and then have more access to that. Now, let's get right into what we have for today. Now, what are we here for today? So we're going to be looking at a project manager versus business analyst, and we're going to be niching it down a bit to focus more on the detailed explanation with skills and career opportunities in the UK, US, and Canada, right? Now, let's get right. But before we go right into the topic, you need to know who is bringing this to us, right? So who are we? So we are Analytics, a leading tech company, a leading tech ed tech company focused on providing specialized training in technology skills and delivering comprehensive data and consulting service. And we've been doing this for over 5 years now, so we are not new at this. We are good at what we do. And we've helped over 3,500 people transition from their 9 to 5 job to their first tech job across the UK, the US, the Canada, Europe, Africa, and Asia. So we are vast everywhere. So we are not restricted to a particular place. And then we have several programs that you can benefit from in here with us at Analytics. And this training program spans from data analytics to business analysis to data engineering to data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile projects management and Scrum Master, cybersecurity, DevOps engineering, and finally, product design. Right. So we see we have a lot for you. Now, we also have a team of instructors, so we don't just bring any kind of person to come in to teach us. We bring in team of instructors from leading global companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and what do they do? We bring them in to share their wealth of experience, and they are dedicated to engaging and teaching us their experiences that they've amassed over their time working as instructors in this global company. They bring this to class to give us value for what we are going to be paying, what we are learning at the end of the day, right? Now, let's get right into it. So, who is going to be taking us today? So, this is a bit about me, Moses. So, who am I? I'm Moses Joshua, as I've earlier said. I'm a senior agile associate here at Ten Analytics with several years of experience in project management and I'm passionate for organizing team and delivering impactful projects, right? So this is lots about me, right? So, and I'll still be speaking with you guys. So I'm here with you. So you still get to know more about me. So don't let me just spoil that. Now, here is my colleague. She's also going to be speaking to us today. And who is she? She is Elizabeth Nana, and she is a product manager, a senior agile project manager, and a clarity coach here at Ten Analytics with half a decade of experience in product and project management. So you see that we have a lot of experienced people here at Analytics, right? So to learn more about her, she's a skilled leader and coach for Agile team, consistently driving as a impactful results. And as a clarity coach, she has helped aspiring professionals gain directions, confidence, and actionable steps to transition into rewarding tech careers. So she has the knowledge and she's been able to help lots of people who don't have any prior tech skill transition into tech. And she has helped over 1,000 people do this across 4 different continents. And with her knowledge from different sectors that include health tech, fintech, and edutech, she has been able to apply this knowledge to be able to transform and help people across these diverse areas. Now, let's get into what we are going to be doing today, right? Enough about us that's going to be our colleagues. Now, what are we doing today? Why are we here today, right? The first thing we're going to be doing is what? We're going to be looking at the introduction to project management and business analyst. After that, we'll move further into careers opportunity in business analysts and in business analytics and project management. Then further, we'll move into the analytics strategic plan to help you secure that job. Because at the end of everything, we want to secure this job. And that is the goal, right? To secure our dream job, to secure our dream tech role. Right. And finally, we're going to be telling you about our special discount offer that we have for you today. So stick with us. So if you're going to be enjoying all those benefits, you need to stick with us till the end of the section. Now, here is where we'll get started. BA versus PM. So before we get started, how many of us has heard about, from your own perspective, I want us to put it in the chat here. When you hear the word project manager or business analyst, what comes to mind? So I'll leave the floor open for a bit and see our reaction. So I want to hear feedbacks from all of us, feedback, comments. When you hear the word project managers or business analysts, what comes to mind? What do you think are the meaning of this? So I'm looking at the chat now to see our answers. So project managers, business analysts, what comes to mind if you hear the word? Just let me see. So I'm looking. Okay, so anyone? Okay, well, we're still waiting for someone to also put the answer. Probably it's taking a while. So just give it one more, a few more seconds, and then we'll get started. So anyone, let's see, I'm still waiting. Who is a project manager? Who is a business analyst from our own perspective before we break into that? All right. While I wait for the answers to come in, while I wait for the answers to come in, right? Move into why are we even comparing these two roles in the first place? Why are we comparing these two roles? So I'm still waiting for the answers, basically. But why are we even comparing these two roles? In the dynamic landscape of modern business, right? In this day and age we are in, we have project managers and business analysts often discussed, especially when a project is about to get started, right? We have both of them always being discussed. Oh, we need a project manager, we need a business analyst. But most times, their roles often conflict with each other, right? So if you don't look at it, you'll not get a thin line. So their roles often conflict with each other. But there's one thing you should know, both roles are indispensable for driving successful initiative for because what they operate with distinct focus and skill sets. Now, one thing I should also point to us is that these two roles, although they might be conflicting, both of them are critical to the success of a project. Both of them are critical to the success of a project. So both roles are critical to project success, but focuses on different aspects. They focus on different aspects. And also, I have an answer here from iPhone. iPhone said a BA looks into the benefits and costs of a project. That's nice. So we'll still get right into that. Thank you very much, iPhone. Now, as iPhone have said, this is what a BA does. They have a particular aspect they look into in the project, which is what benefits and costs, right, of the project, right? To see, okay, oh, is this project going to be beneficial, right? What's the trend? What's the market trend? What's the opportunities? What are the weaknesses? What are the things we need to look out for going into this business? On the long run, is this business going to be paying us? That's what the business analyst does. Analyzes everything relating to the market trends and how to basically improve that business, right? So now, the next thing we should also know is what? Career clarity. Understanding this distinction between these two roles is crucial. And why is it crucial? It is crucial because it's informed career planning. It helps us with informed career planning. If we're able to know the distinct role, oh, what does a business analyst actually do? What does a project manager actually do? It helps us to, it creates a clarity. Oh, now I see with this explanation, I can be able to see I'm leaning towards the project manager aspect or I'm leaning towards the business analyst aspect, right? So it helps us with informed career planning and for organization, helps with organizations for that wants to what hire people. It helps them. Oh, I want to do some hiring. I need to some strategic planning, decision making. I need to do some decision makings. You see them. It helps you with this clear part. And then finally, the last part is what? It helps with global demands. Both of them are what are important in this market trend. You might be thinking, oh, a business analyst is not as important, or a project manager is not as important. One thing I want to bring to us is both of them are in high demand. So the UK, the US, and Canada market consistently show strong demand for both roles, presenting unique opportunities for the both of them, for the both professions, right? So you leaning towards the business analyst or the project manager, both of them are in demand. But you need to understand which one, which part should I lean towards? You need to have that clear path. And that is what leads us towards the next part we are going to be talking about. What does a project manager do? But before we go right into what a project manager does, right, we need to look at some of the answers that's been given. So iPhone says a business analyst look into the benefits and it looks into the benefits and cost of a project. That's for a business analyst. And a project manager, he said, a project manager manages a project through coordinating, managing resources, and everything that will make the project successful. That's exactly it. And thank you very much for that, iPhone. So now, what does a project manager do? Right? According to what iPhone has said here, he said they coordinate projects, right? They are like orchestrator. Project managers is the orchestrator of successful project delivery, right? Guiding initiative from inception to completion. You know how orchestras are when you go to a music concert or an opera, right? You see them directing, do this, just the wave of a hand, and you see people doing it the way they want it, right? The way they are being directed to. That's what the project manager does, right? They tell you, oh, you're supposed to handle it. And at the end of it, they make sure that the project is being completed on time and within schedule, right? So they make sure they manage everything relating to the project to make sure that that project is a success. They are accountable for ensuring that the project meets their goals and are delivered on time and within budgets. So that's what a project manager basically does. Now, what are I broke it down into two. What are like the major areas or major parts that of what they do? First thing is what they do, they are focused more on strategic leadership. A project manager is a leader. They are not bosses, they are leaders, right? What do we mean by leaders? They are always there with their team members, going with them, making sure everyone is at the right state of mind. It's good, everyone is energized to work. They are always following them in every aspect, making sure that the project is on schedule, making sure that they manage every single person in the project. They are strategic leaders. They lead project planning, the execution of the project, the monitoring, and finally, the closure of the project across industries. So we might think, oh, what's there to manage? It's very difficult to manage people. And this is why they are called strategic leaders. Now, what else do they do? They also manage resources. And these resources include timelines, budgets, resources, and what stakeholders communication. So when we talk about resources, there are different aspects of resources, right? We have the humans, we have the things that you need, the vendors and so on. But that's just by the way, there are lots of things involved in it. So this is just a snippet of what a project manager does. Now, to get full details, to get full intake of this knowledge, you can also fill the feedback form and you have my colleagues reach out to you at the end of the day, or take a program with us. You get full knowledge, full grasp of what all this is all about. Now, let's continue. We've talked about what a project manager does. Now, what does a business analyst do? What does a business analyst do? A business analyst acts as a crucial lies in between the business need and technical solution, right? They are focused on what does this business need? How do we upscale? How do we join the market trend? How do we be at the top? That's what they're about. They analyze the business, they analyze the market trend. How can we be better? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Right? What are the opportunities we have? In the next 5 years, what are we aiming to achieve? This is what a business analyst do. They arrange, they make sure everything goes as planned. And also, they gather all the requirements that is needed. And then they are like as they've said, the liaise between the business owner and then the technical people working on it, creating the solutions that he has actually outsourced. Now, they delve deep into organizational process to identify inefficiencies and define requirements for improvement or new systems. So this is what they do. Now let's go into like what I did was overview. Now I broke it down into two also, right? And don't forget, there are several other things that a business analyst also does, right? But we'll focus majorly on those two. The first one is what? Needs assessments. As I've said before, they assess the needs of the business, of the company. What do they need? They analyze the business needs, they gather and document requirements needed, and finally, they process effective solution. So they don't just go around getting, oh, what is the strength? What are the weaknesses? They get all this information and in turn put it into the business or the organization they are working with to what provide an effective solution to make them grow better. And what else do they do? They're like a communication bridge. They're also known as communication bridge between the business stakeholders and the technical development teams. Right. So now this is a bit of what a business analyst does. Now, what are like the key skill comparison, right? And as we said before, both of them are a bit similar, but they have their core skills. Each of them have their core skills that they are focused on. Now, while both roles require strong analytic and communication ability, their specialized skill sets cater to different phases and priority within project lifecycle. Now, what are some of the core skills of a project manager? What are some of the core skills of a project manager? The first one is what? Execution and delivery. A project manager must be able to execute the project and at the end of it, deliver the project on time and within schedule, the way the stakeholder wants it. Oh, I want you to help me and do this project like this. Would you be able to do it? You, the project manager, you do your research. Oh, okay, this is something we can do. This is going to be the cost. This is going to be the timeline. Or the stakeholder tells you, oh, I want it to be done in this timeline and with this amount. If you check, look at it and you see, oh, this can be done with this price, you say, yes, we can go on with it. And immediately you accept it, you have to be able to execute the project and then finally deliver the project within the agreed upon time and budget. Next is what? Risk and resource management. You know, there's sometimes when you work on projects, right, and it doesn't go according to plan most times, right? There are some risks that might happen in the project that is not planned for. There are some things that might occur. How do you manage risk? Oh, you want to go out and immediately you step out of your house, you see that the weather has changed. There's a risk of rain falling. How do you manage that risk? Right? Same thing in projects. You start a project. What is the risk of this happening? What is the risk of this happening in this project? So project manager manages the risk and then the resources to make sure that there is nothing that comes and shake the project and say, no, we're not able to successfully finish this project. Because the joy of every project manager is to what? To make sure that the project is completed on time and within schedule and budget. Now, the next core skill of a project manager is what? Stakeholder leadership. Stakeholder leadership. So a project manager must know how to manage stakeholder, lead stakeholders, create communication plan for stakeholders. Okay, well, this is how we're going to be communicating. Reach out to them. What works for you? How do you like to be communicated? Most stakeholders will say, oh, I just prefer WhatsApp. Some people will say, okay, you can call me once a week to let me know update of what's happening in the project. Some stakeholders will say, just let us know when the project is ready for testing, right? Some of them will say, don't always give me updates. Send update to me probably every weekend, right? This is like the core skill. So you create a communication plan of how you want to manage your stakeholders. And for projects, we can have several stakeholders. Stakeholders are not fixed. At the beginning of a project, you can have two, three, four stakeholders. But before you end that project, you're already having 10 stakeholders, right? So it is not fixed. So you should be able to know how to lead your stakeholders, manage them effectively. The next core skill of a project manager is what? Budget control. Budget control. Okay, Rachel asked a question. Are the stakeholders like the vendors? Yes, vendors are also stakeholders. They are what we call the external stakeholders. So we have two major types of stakeholders, the internal and the external stakeholders, right? All right. So now let's continue. The next one is what? Budget control. As a project manager, you must know how to. This is very important. It is very, very important. You must know how to what? Control budgets. Because when you collect the money, you think that this money is very big. But before you close your eye and open it, without any proper planning, the money will disappear. There will be budget overrun. So as a project manager, you must know how to what? Manage budget, control budget. And the next thing you should notice was as project manager, some core skills include what? The methodologies of project management, right? To be able to know that. And we have different methodologies. We have agile, we have waterfall, we have hybrid, we have lean, we have safe. There are so many. So you must know few of them. You must know the traditional, which is the waterfall majorly, and then the agile. So these are like the two major ones that are being used. Waterfall and agile. Then there are some projects now that now use the both of them. They call it Agile. That uses the both of them. And also we have Scrum, which is under the agile methodology. Now, as we go on, okay, now I've talked about the project managers. Now, I want to see in the chat, what are some of the core skills of a business analyst? Who wants to give it a go? Some of the core skills of a business analyst. So suggestions from anyone? Okay, let's see. So I'm looking at the chat now. So what are some of the core skills of a business analyst? Anyone? Anyone wants to give it a try? All right, attention to details. Thank you very much for that, iPhone. Rachel, attention to details. Thank you very much. iPhone, you said analytical. Thank you very much, iPhone. That's great. All right. So they pay attention to details, as Rachel has said. They are keen to that because it's important. And also they are analytical. They pay more attention to analysis, right? Oh, how do we do this? How do we check this trend? How do we make sure that this business succeeds? Right? Now, these are some of the core skills. One is what? Requirement elicitation. Requirement is simply means gathering requirements, the things that is needed for the business. Okay, or how to gather it, how to get everything needed. I've explained this several times. The next thing is what? Process improvements. Now you've gathered the requirements, communication skills. Thank you very much, iPhone. Also very important, communication skills. We have other ones like process improvements and what? Data and system analysis. Data and system analysis. Now they've gathered those datas, they've gathered it, they've gone to get all the requirements. Now they need to assess this data, they need to analyze this data so that the data can be useful to the business, right? So if you go and you want to do a business, you go, you check your competitors. Oh, what are they doing differently? What are the features they add to make their own platform better? You go there, you check their tools, you check their features. When you gather all those requirements, you bring it in, you now analyze it to be able to impute it into your own business. Okay, how can we incorporate these things that we've gotten? How can we incorporate it into the business to further make it better? And next we have what? Solution design. At the end of the day, they will design a visualized data that we can easily see and oh, this is how it looks like. Okay, something that anyone can see, because if they give you the data, you might not be able to understand it. So they designed the solution. Okay, well, this is something that is visible for us to be able to follow through. And also, we also have different parts of business. All right, can you guys still hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me clearly. All right, thank you very much. So you guys can see him. Nice. All right, let's move on. So we have different sections also. We have the UML, we have the BPMN, and we have user stories. You also create user stories here. So one thing they have in common is both of them, both a project manager and a business analyst, they all work, they create user stories. They use the Jira platform, a tool that is being used for both. Still talk about the tools as we go on. Now let's move on. Now we've looked at the core skills for each of them. Now the next thing is what? The tools that are being used in each of them. But we'll first of all start with the project manager, project management. So what are some of the tools that are used in project management? Who can give it a go? What are some of the tools used in project management? Tools used in project management. I'm looking at the charts now. What are some of the tools used in project management? All right, we have MS Project. Thank you very much, Eniola. MS Project, Microsoft Project, nice one, iPhone. We have Planner. Eniola, thank you. Planner. All right. Okay, nice. Seems like you guys got the first one. Nice. So the first one is what? MS Project, Jira. Thank you very much, Eniola. Jira is also one common tool used. So common tools used in project management, we have the MS Project, right? Very common tool. MS Project for what? For timelines and schedule. For timelines and schedule, MS Project is focused more on that. And we have other tools also for task management and team collaborations. And these tools we have in this category include what? The Trello, the Asana, the Jira. And don't forget, these are common tools. We have several other tools. We have several other tools used in project management. We have ClickUp, we have Linear.app, and so on. Right. So this one are just the few ones we've listed for today. Now, the next one for what? Communication and updates. This one is for talks, is what? Slack and Microsoft Teams. Slack and Microsoft Teams. These are also some of the tools that are used for communications. Now, let's do the same for business. Before we move into that, The next thing we'll look at was the salary average. Now we've been talking about project managers being high demands in the UK, the US, the Canada. But what are the salary average? What is their average in these three major regions, right? For the UK, the average salary for a project manager is what? 45,000 to 75,000 pounds. 45,000 to 75,000 pounds, right? And for the US, we have 85,000 to $140,000. And then don't forget, this is just the average. And then for Canada, we have 80,000 to 130,000 Canadian dollars. So you see that on the average, this is something good. Now let's move into the business analyst. Let's look a bit about the business analyst. What are some of the tools? I'm also looking at the charts now. What are some of the tools that are being used in business analysis? In business analysis, what are some of the tools that are being used there? All right, I'm looking at the charts. Okay, we have MX Excel. Thank you very much. We have Figma, Salesforce. All right, thank you. We have Jira also. Nice, Razak. Nice, Eniola. Salesforce. We have VCO. Thank you very much, Razak. Nice one. So we have a lot, right? Thank you very much, guys. We have Balsamic. Thank you very much, Razak. All right, now, all right, now let's go into that. The common skills used is what? We have them listed in the pictures there, and then we have also some listed here. We have Visio or Draw.io. Visio or Draw.io. And what are these ones used for majorly? They are used for what? Flowcharts and diagrams. They're majorly used for flowcharts and diagrams. And then we have the UML modeling tools. And this one is for the design, for designing the technical solution. You know, we talked about gathering the requirements and then you have to visualize it for people to see it. And this UML is majorly used to design these technical solutions. And next we have the Excel. This is where you gather all the data and put. This is where you start analyzing those data. And after that, we have what wireframe tools like the Azure, the Balsamic, and so we have several others also, right? And these ones are also used for designing user interface, designing something that you can see, visualize, make it look good. They're also used to design that, the wireframes. And then finally, we have the the requirement management tools. This one is just used to track the business needs. Does the business need at the moment? What do we need to improve on in the business? And the tool that is basically used for this one is what? JAMA software, sorry, JAMA software. We have several others also, but this is one of the common ones that we've listed here. Now, what is also the average salary for a business analyst in the UK, the US, and Canada? What is the average salary? Now, for the average salary in the UK is what? 35,000 to 65,000 pounds in the UK, right? And for the US, we have 70,000. We have 70,000 to $120,000 for the US. And finally, for Canada, we have 70,000 to 110,000 Canadian dollars for Canada. So these are like the average salary for these roles. The average salary for these roles as a business analyst, this is the average salary, right, in these regions. Now, let's move into the career paths and growth. What are the career paths for each of those the project managers and the business analysts? What are the career paths? So if you take a course with us, right, and you take a course as a project manager or as a business analyst, what are the career paths that are there for you? So I just listed a few here. There are several others, which my colleague is also going to talk about as he talks. So there are several others, but I'll just list a few. But before we do that, project managers and business analysts offer clear, rewarding career trajectories. And this includes one, for project managers, they can work as project managers, first of all, right? Next, and what do? They lead and deliver projects successfully. Next, a project manager can also work as a program manager. So these are career paths, program manager. And what does the program manager do? They oversee multiple related projects, aligning aligning to a strategic goal at the end of the day. So that's what a program manager does. And we also have a portfolio manager. It manages collection of programs or projects. And then we have the PMO directors. These are the people that create the standards the organization is going to be following. They define and maintain project management standards across organization. Right? This is the PMO. And these are just a few career paths, as I've said before, right? My colleague is still going to talk more on that. Now, let's look at some of the career paths in as a business analyst. The first one is what? As a business analyst, you can work as a business analyst. And what do? They analyze needs and then gather requirements and propose solutions after gathering these requirements, right? What else do? They can work as what? A senior business analyst or a product owner. What does it simply means to work as a senior business analyst or a product owner? This simply focus on what leading complex analysis or define product ambition roadmaps. So this is what I do. And don't forget, this is just a snippet. This is just a snippet of it, right? There are a lot more things they do. We're just giving you snippets. You can also get more of this if you just take any of those program models. Now, the next one is what? Business architect. Business architect. A business analyst can also, if you go through this part, you also work as what? A business architect. And what do? They design enterprise level business solution and strategies. So business analysts are more like solution providers, solution provider, critical thinkers. Those are who business analysts are, right? And lastly, consultants can work as a consultant as a business analyst, and you can also work as a consultant as a project manager also in your different fields, right? Don't forget. Now, many professionals find valuable crossover potential, leveraging their understanding of one domain to excel in the other with additional training and experience. What this is simply saying is do not be restricted. Say, oh, I just want to. You can, as a, you know that as I've said before earlier on, both of them are intertwined. But I've clearly explained, oh, the main focus of a business analyst and a project manager. But that doesn't mean a project manager can't have a bit of skill from the business analyst. And that doesn't mean a business analyst can't also have a bit of skill from the project management aspects. And that is why when we are explaining or teaching our participants, we use tools like Jira to explain. Because of this tool is basically used by both project managers and business analysts. Now, how to choose your path. How to choose your paths. Deciding between a project manager and business analyst career depends on your natural attitude. Depends on your natural aptitude. Preferred working style. How do you work? Right? And then your long-term professional aspiration, right? So now looking at yourself, what do you lean towards? Oh, I'm a problem solver. I like to analyze data. I like to do lots of critical thinking. Do you see yourself in that part? With that, you know that okay, I'm leaning towards the business analysis aspect. Or you see yourself as someone that you like to see things to the end. You manage projects. Oh, you like to monitor. Oh, do this like this, do this like this. You are someone that can manage a budget. You are someone that can manage resources. You are someone that, oh, this is what I'm starting. This is how I'm going to finish it. You've documented everything, every step. Okay, oh, this is how you want to do it from your planning phase to the execution phase to the monitoring and controlling phase and closure phase. You've documented everything. You have a plan. So if you fall in this category, you know that you're leaning towards the path of a project manager, right? And don't forget, as I've said before, some of them, some of the responsibilities might intertwine as you go on, right? Stakeholder management can be intertwined in both of them, but don't forget, both of them have their key role they play in projects, in an organization, in businesses. Now, project manager, if you lean towards the project manager, choose this career path if you thrive on leadership, coordination, and are passionate about ensuring successful project delivery through meticulous planning and execution. Exactly what I just explained now. So if you look at yourself and you see that you're leaning towards this aspect, just know that, oh, my part is project manager, right? I like to lead, I like to coordinate. You know that, oh, you're leaning towards the project manager aspect. But if you see yourself as someone that you excel in analysis, you like to see data, you like to analyze data, you love to solve problems, you enjoy bridging the gap between business need and the team and technical team. You love to look at, oh, how can this thing move, and you get the solution at the end of the day. Probably are leaning towards the business analysis aspects. So look within yourself and see, okay, what parts am I leaning towards? What parts am I leaning towards? Now, after taking through that thought, the next thing is, how do I get started? How do I select the right path? And this is where I hand it over to my colleague. Hello, Elizabeth. Can you take over from here?
Hello, Moses. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I was enjoying it so much. I forgot that I was supposed to come in at some point. Thank you so much for this. Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Nana. I'm going to be taking over from Moses now. So just before I jump right into it, I can see some people clapping. I want us to just encourage Moses a little bit. I mean, he has shared his wealth of knowledge with every single person on this call. Thank you so much, Aisha. I see Aisha clapping. You can also put your favorite emoji in the chat so I know that we actually had people listening to Moses's presentation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead to share my screen now. Thank you so much, Olufumi and the other people reacting. All right, so just give me a minute and I will be sharing my screen shortly. Now, I know Moses already asked if if this is your first time joining this session, put a one. Now, I want to ask a different question. All right, so if you're an absolute beginner in tech, right, you don't have a background whatsoever, but you're interested in breaking in, through career paths like either a project manager or a business analyst, I want you to put a one in the chat. But if you're not a beginner, and you have some background, some things, you can put a two in the chat. I want to know who my target audience is today. Okay, so I see Bridget. Bridget puts a one in the chat. Fantastic. Bridget, happy to tell you that you are in the best session. Rachel, one. Amomi, two. Aisha, two. Francis, two. Patricia one, iPhone one, and your last is 1.5. I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it. All right. I'm going to be sharing my screen and I will be walking you through how you can get started. Now, if everything Moses, said earlier interests you in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to be showing you how you can get started. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to select the right career path. So this brings me to my next question. If you already know what you want to do, I mean, we're looking at two different career paths today, right? We're looking at business analysis and then we're looking at project management. So if you already know where you want to go, I want you to put a BA in the chat for business analysis or PM in the chat for project management. So let me see the people that already know what they want to do. Okay. I hope the PMs will win this one. iPhone says PM. Aisha says BA. Rachel says PM 2. Omomi says BA 2-2. David says BA 3-2. Eniola says BA 4-2. Anyone else? Eniola has a question. So I'm going to take this. Okay, Dr. Linda, can an individual who has completed a business analysis course take on a role in a project management role? Yes, 100%, but it is not vice versa. Okay. Yes, you can, Dr. Linda. All right. So I see a couple of people already know where they want to get into. But for people who don't, I don't want you to feel bad. That's also why we're here on this session tonight. So I'm sure that by the end of this session, at the end, you'll be able to understand exactly the different career paths, right? And then you know exactly where you want to be. Okay. So let's get right into it. Business analysis or project management? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. So now, before we do that, I also want to just mention that there are a lot of people on here who are scared. We hear a lot of buzzwords, there are a lot of buzzwords out there about AI. We're constantly talking about AI, how AI is coming to take over a lot of jobs. How are you sure that if you get into this new career path, whether it is business analysis or project management, you are safe, right? You are not getting into a career path that in the next few years is going to become redundant. And because at our very core here at 10 Analytics, we care a lot about sustainability. We're not just trying to get you to register for a program or take a course that, in 1 year becomes very redundant, and then people are moving on to the next big thing. And that's why we decided to do like a lot of research in order to offer these programs. Now, Moses mentioned earlier that we currently offer 10 programs. It was not always 10, it used to be 8. But of course, as the world evolves, we're making sure that we're evolving with the world, and now it is 10. Now we're going to just forget about the noise, right? Yes, we offer 10 programs, but we're looking at just 2 programs on the session today, right? So we're looking at business analysis and project management. But in order for us to offer these courses, these programs, we also had to do a lot of research to make sure that in the different regions, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Canada, whether you're in the US, whether you're in UK, whether you are in Africa, these jobs are actually in very much of a high demand. And upon completion of this program, you are able to land a job, because at least that's the end goal. Moses was sharing average salaries. A lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people, our ears were like perking, like, okay, that's the goal. At the end of the day, you want to land a high paying job, not just any type of job, but a high paying job. So we needed to make sure that these programs that we are offering, right, they're actually eligible. They can get you that job that you want, the job of your dreams. And also for people who are looking to get a visa sponsorship, these are also jobs that are eligible for a visa sponsorship. So we took a look at the World Economic Forum. Now, if you're listening to me, if you're listening to the sound of my voice today, please make sure to fill the attendance form. There's a link that my colleagues have been dropping in the chat. Make sure to fill the attendance form so that you can get the recording of this session, as well as the slides that I am sharing on my screen right now. My colleague just dropped the link again. Just click on that link. It's going to take you less than 1 minute. go ahead to fill the form so you can have the recording and the slide. Now, very important that you fill that form because that's the only way we'll get your details and then we're able to send you these slides. Now, on these slides, I have a lot of wonderful resources linked. All right. I'm going to be talking about the World Economic Future of Jobs report for 2025. Even though this is available to anybody on the web, if you have Google, just go on Google and put in World Economic, Forum Future of Jobs 2025, but I've made it easier for you. So a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, I have them linked on my slide. So once you get the slides, you can just click on these links and access this report, watch these videos, look at these resources. It makes it much easier for you. So make sure to fill the attendance form. All right. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, a lot of jobs are about to be created. All right. A lot of jobs are about to be created. It already started, but it's going to continue. It can only go up from here. And a lot of jobs will be lost. All right. Now, how do we know where we fall? Are we part of the jobs that are getting created or the jobs that are stable? Or are we part of the jobs that, are going to be lost? So let's know before we get into anything. Right. Now, in the next 5 years, that's by 2030, the World Economic Forum predicts that about 170 million jobs will be created, while 92 million jobs will disappear. It's a lot. It's a lot. And 92 million, think about it. 92 million is a huge number. Now, you can see a snapshot of the report on my screen. You see boxes, right? And then they're color codes. So you see some boxes color coded in red, you see some color coded in blue, and then you see some in green. Now, the red boxes signifies the jobs that will be destroyed, and each box stands for 1 million jobs. Each box. And you can see the amount of boxes we have there. The red boxes, signifies the amount of jobs that would potentially be lost in the next 5 years. And the blue boxes signifies the number of jobs that are stable, while the green boxes are signifying the number of jobs that are projected to be created. All right. Now, what this means in the, long story short, what this means is that there is going to be a structural labor market churn. Layman terms, right? There's a skill gap. Now, what that means is that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but then there's also going to be a lot of opportunities for people to land jobs, but you need to have the skill. Okay, there's a skill gap. These organizations are looking for these people. These organizations are looking for project managers. These organizations are looking for business analysts. They're looking for them. They're looking for them to hire them, but you need to have the skill. All right, let's jump right into it. Now, when we talk about the in-demand career paths, I also took a snapshot of this report, and then I went ahead to highlight what we're talking about today. Again, just to, I mentioned earlier that at our very core, we are very concerned about sustainability. Now, you can see that project managers are not just the traditional project managers now, but the agile project managers are highlighted as, one of the jobs that are growing tremendously in demand. It's not stopping anytime soon. In the next 10 years, you are safe, right? And then we also have business analysts as well. Like I mentioned earlier, you have the link to this report linked on my slide. So you can just make sure to fill the attendance form. Once you get the slide, take your time, click on the link, download the full report and go over it. You don't have to take my word for it at all. Now, let's start off with the Agile Project Management Program. A lot of people on here want to be a project manager, you want to be a business analyst. You don't quite know what it entails just yet. Or you have surface level understanding, but I'm going to tell you what we are offering, okay? What this program is about, what we are offering, what we are trying to, give to you, the kind of knowledge that we have that we are going to impact. Now, we'll start off with who is a project manager. When we talk about project managers, I'm a project manager, so I'm a bit biased. Project managers are sort of like the coaches or the facilitators of a project team. Now, you always have a team. Okay. And as a project manager, you are going to be at the forefront. It's not something you can run away from. You're going to be managing teams. Like the name implies, project manager. So you're going to be managing teams. You're going to be managing timelines. Now, it is your job to make sure that your team, your project team, is able to deliver on projects within the three most important parameters of project management. Now, what are these three important parameters? We have the timeline. Every single project has a timeline. All right. There's a start date and then there's an end date. It could be that the duration for the project is 6 months or 12 months or 24 months or 5 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks. There must be a timeline. Okay. Now you want to make sure that your team is able to deliver on that project within that specific timeline. So if the project was supposed to run for 1 year, 12 months, you want to make sure that at the end of 12 months, your team is able to deliver, right? Then the second important parameter is budgets. Every single project also has a budget. All right. Your project could get awarded $1 million or $500,000, £500,000, £200,000, £100,000. You want to make sure, Moses was saying something. When he said it, I smiled because that is the truth. A lot of times we get this money or you hear it because it's not like you get the money, right? But you hear it and you know that, oh, this project was awarded $1 million. And you think to yourself that that's a lot of money. I mean, we could not possibly spend this much money on this project. Let's just keep doing, and then you don't track. That's a trap that a lot of baby project managers, I call them baby project managers because, people like that lack experience. That's a trap that a lot of baby project managers fall into. So they don't track the budget. And then at the end of the project, you find out that you are spending more. You are awarded $1 million. At the end of the project, you have a debt of like $1.5 million or $2 million. Where's the extra money going to come from? You don't know. All right. So you want to make sure that you are not overspending on your project. You are tracking your budget, you're tracking your expenses. So if your project was awarded $1 million, you're making sure that you're not spending more than $1 million. Now you could spend less. There's nothing wrong with spending less, right? But you want to make sure that you don't spend more. And finally, the third one is the scope. Now, the scope of a project refers to the boundaries of that project. And what that means is, layman terms, okay? They say what I ordered versus what I got. You want to make sure that at the end of your project, by the time your team is done with that project, what you are delivering to the client is exactly what the client asked you to deliver. All right. So if the client asks for a web application with specific features, you want to make sure that by the time you are handing over a web application with those exact features that the client asked for. So the scope represents the boundaries of work. Now, those are the three most important parameters, and it is your job to make sure that your team, is able to deliver in line with these parameters. Now, what are the key learning areas? What are the things that you need to know? As someone who is looking to start just get into project management, what are the things you need to know right now today that can get you from a 0 to 100? That can get you from beginner to professional in project management. Here at Analytics, we always start with an introduction because it's beginner friendly and we understand that we have people from all walks of life, people from different regions, different countries. We have people from different continents, okay? Continents and worlds apart. We also have people from different, backgrounds, professional backgrounds, educational backgrounds. Some people are nurses coming from the healthcare sector. Some people are doctors. Some people are pharmacists. Some people are teachers. Some people some people just finished school. Some people are taking their masters. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what your background is. As long as you know that communication is your strong suit, then project management is for you. So we start off with introduction to project management methodologies and structure. All right. Now, the different methodologies. What are the different project management methodologies? Moses did a good job of explaining it earlier, just briefly. We have three of them: the agile methodology, the waterfall methodology, and the hybrid methodology, or some people call it WAGile, meaning it's a combination of both waterfall and hybrid. Just to make sure I have people listening to me and paying attention, please put an emoji, any emoji of choice in the chat. I'm looking in the chat right now. I want to make sure people are actually listening to me. Okay, Rachel, thank you so much, Rachel. Anyone else? iPhone, Aisha. All right, fantastic. One more person in key. Okay, great. Now, we talk about the project management methodologies. We teach you these methodologies and we don't just stop there. It's not enough for you to just know, oh, what is agile? What is waterfall? What is hybrid? What is an example of agile? No. We also take it a step further and we teach you how to identify the best methodology to use for a specific project. Now, the truth is, not a lot of people know this, but when we talk about methodologies, talk about techniques. Okay, so if you think methodologies, think techniques. And it's not a one size fits all. Project management is not a one size fits all. It doesn't mean that, oh, yes, agile is the next big thing. So every single project I get, I must use the agile methodology. Okay, it's not a one size fits all. Sometimes the agile methodology would not work, and we understand that here at 10 Analytics. So what we do is we are also going to teach you how you can identify the best methodology to use for a project. So you look at this project and you're like, I think, the waterfall methodology would be the best approach for this project, or I think the agile methodology would be the best approach for this project. So you're able to identify the best methodology for a certain project, whatever project it is you're working on. And then we go ahead to teach you the project management structure. Now, when we talk about the project management structure, we're talking about the life cycle of a project, right? The different phases that your project has to pass through for you to have a successful project at the end of the day. So we're talking about your project initiation phase, where you learn how to carry out a feasibility study. You learn how to build a business case for the justification of that project. You learn how to come up with your project charter for the authorization of that project. You start to go into your project planning phase, where you start to plan your Gantt chart or your timeline, the timeline for that project. Oh, we have 12 months. Now, how are we going to split all these different tasks? You break down the tasks and you split it across those 12 months. What are we going to be doing at the end of the first month, the end of the second month, and so on and so forth? Here, you also start to plan your budget. All right. How are we going to spend this money? How many people do we need to recruit? What do we need to pay for? Do we need to pay for equipment? Do we need to buy equipment? Do we need to rent equipment? You start to plan the budget as well. Okay, we talk about your work breakdown structure. When you break down the work into tiny work packages, that's what they are called. If you want to know more, go ahead to register for the 10 Analytics Agile Project Management Program. But moving forward, we go into the project execution phase. Now, this is where the real work starts, right? Where you have assigned tasks to your team, and then everybody's working. The developers are working, the designers are working, the quality assurance person is testing. That's the execution phase. Then we move on to the project monitoring and control phase, where you are monitoring your team members to make sure that they're actually working. You're monitoring their productivity. You're looking at the quality of work, the quality of their outputs, the output that they're churning, and then you're seeing the quality. You're able to say, oh, there's a bug. This is not working right. Trying to make sure that at the end of the day, what you're delivering to the clients is of the best quality and of industry standard. And finally, the project closure phase, where you close down the project, that's the end of the project's life cycle, and you're able to conduct a handover to the client. Then we move into project management skills and communication. Now, again, because we're absolutely beginners, we need to know some of the skills that a project manager needs to have, like emotional intelligence, time management. You're going to be taught all of these different, skills, as well as how you can tailor your communication to fit your audience. So when you're speaking to a specific audience or a specific stakeholder, how do you speak or communicate with that stakeholder? What are the type of communication channels that you establish with your different type of stakeholders? Then we move on to the foundations of Agile and Scrum. All right. So what exactly is the Agile methodology? We talk about the Agile methodology a lot. And during the course of your career, you're going to hear that a lot. In fact, as you're applying to jobs, when you check the job description, you see, experience in Agile methodologies. What exactly is Agile? All right. So you're going to be learning the foundations of Agile, where it started from, how we started, what are the principles of Agile, the core values of Agile, okay? And then we do a deep dive into the two most important frameworks. Now, there are plenty different frameworks under the Agile methodology. You actually learn about all of them, but then we pick the two most important ones, the two most popular ones, and then we do a deep dive into both of them. So you're going to learn Scrum end to end. And that also qualifies you as a Scrum Master, if that's what you want to get into. So you learn the Scrum framework end to end, from your Scrum artifacts, your Scrum events, like your sprint planning, your daily stand-up, your sprint review, your sprint retrospective, your backlog refinement and grooming. So you're learning all of these different ceremonies and the differences How do you conduct or facilitate these ceremonies? What are your Scrum artifacts, like your sprints, your product backlog, your sprint backlog, your increments, and so on and so forth. And then we go into advanced Scrum and Agile practices where writing user stories come in, and then end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence in projects. Now, Jira and Trello, pardon, are task management, tools. You use these tools to assign tasks to your team members and also track. So you're able to see, especially when you're working in a remote setting, we're not seeing each other face to face, but you're able to open your Jira, go on your Jira board, and you're seeing that, oh, the task that was assigned to Inky is under review currently. So he or she has worked on it, and is currently being reviewed. You're able to see that the task that was assigned to Linda is still open. Linda has not started working on this task. So you're able to track the progress of all the tasks that you assign to your team members. And then we have Confluence, which you'll be using for project collaboration as well as documentation during the course of your project. Then we go into Kanban boards for workflow management. So if you recall earlier, I said we do a deep dive end to end into the two most important frameworks. So once we're done with Scrum, we go ahead and get into Kanban. And then we go into Agile metrics and reporting, which is how you're able to track the health of your project. So how do you know if your project is on track? Are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind schedule? Are we on track? How do you know if your team is being productive enough? Right? So you're able to track all of these metrics using your Jira, your velocity, your burn up chart, your burn down chart, your lead time, your cycle time, and so on and so forth. And then you also learn about reporting. So the different ways you can also report, because as a project manager, of course, you're in charge of reporting the progress or the status of the project to your top stakeholders. It could be the project sponsor, it could be the C-suite executives. So how do you prepare your reports to say, oh, this is where we are at in this project, this is what we have done, this is what is left, and so on and so forth. And then leadership and real world application. So leadership and management, they're two very different things that a lot of people mix up. Now you're going to learn how to combine both of them. What exactly is leadership? What exactly is management? And how do you combine the both of them to become an effective and efficient project manager? And when we say real world application, every single thing I've been saying since I started, right from when I started talking about the methodologies, you are going to be learning them using real life case studies. All right. So you're actually working on projects. From your very first life class, you're assigned projects to work on. So you start using case studies to sort of understand all of these concepts. Now, it's not just you coming to class to read a textbook. It's not just the theoretical aspect. We are marrying the theory with the practical. So you actually get to work on projects and build your portfolio. I'm going to be showing you an example of one of our participants' portfolio shortly. Now, if you're also someone who is looking to maybe take a professional certification, get a professional certification later on, like your PSM 1 and 2, that's your professional Scrum Master certification, your CSM, your Certified Scrum Master, your PMP, your Prince 2, your CAPM, whatever certification it is that you're looking at getting, this program also helps to prepare you for that, because every single thing that you have in this curriculum is what you will see in the exam. All right. So this is the knowledge that you gain, the knowledge that is imparted, during the course of this program would help you tremendously, to prepare for that examination. And then what is the learning structure here at Analytics? So we have a blended learning approach. We have a blend of Saturday live classes as well as self-paced learning. So upon registration, every single participant is added to our LMS. That's the learning management system, where you get pre-recorded videos of your facilitator. Someone like me, someone like myself, someone like Moses, pre-recorded videos of your facilitator walking you through different projects, different concepts, how to use different tools, and you're able to watch it at your own time. Now, we did this because we don't want you coming to class every day. It's a lot. And, we are no longer at that time in our lives, or at that phase in our lives where all we have to do is wake up in the morning, get dressed and put on your school uniform and go to school, right? We have our regular 9 to 5s, right? Our jobs outside of this training. Some of us are, currently undergoing our master's or PhD program. You have your family to take care of. So we don't want to overwhelm you. right? So you don't have to attend classes every day. We prepare these videos. We make sure to pre-record these videos and share with you so you can watch it at your own time, at your own pace, right? And then we have live classes. So you have 2 live classes in a month. And this cuts across the business analysis program as well. 2 live classes in a month, and they happen on Saturday. So what that means is you have a live class every other Saturday. So for example, if you have a live class this Saturday, you have a break next Saturday, and then you have another live class the upper Saturday, right? And then for the Saturday live classes, we have 2 different timings. You have the morning class, which is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and the evening class, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. So this is also to accommodate your different schedules as well as your different time zones. All right. So if you're in the US, you have a class that would fit into your time zone. And if you're in the UK, you have a class that would also fit into your time zone as well. Now you're able to select the class you want to join. So even if you're in the UK and you're like, I'm not free in the morning, I'd like to join the evening class is instead, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You are able to do that. All right. Both classes are the same. We just had to split them to accommodate different work schedules and different time zones because I'm aware some of us on here, we also work on Saturdays. All right. Now, if for any reason you miss a live class, for any reason whatsoever, you miss a live class, not to worry. You don't have to worry at all because we understand sometimes you could have a work emergency, you have, or maybe you joined class, but you were sleepy. We're not really paying attention. Now, every single live session here at Analytics is recorded. Everything that requires you to join a meeting is recorded. So you always have access to the recording of that session, just like you have access to the recording of this one, right? Once you fill the attendance form. And then, if you have questions, you have what we call drop-in sessions that happen 2 times in a week. Drop-in sessions are question sessions. There is quite different from this session. This session, you can't unmute your mic. At the drop-in session, you can raise up your hand, unmute your mic, speak and ask your questions to your heart content, right? Whatever questions it is that you have. Oh, I was watching this video you sent, I don't really understand this. Can you explain? Or this project you assigned us to. I don't really know how to use Jira. I didn't really get it when you were teaching us. Please, can I share my screen and show you the problem I'm encountering? Or can you please explain? Can you please go over it one last time? You're able to join a drop-in session and ask those questions and get guidance from your facilitator. So the drop-in sessions happen on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. West African time. And on Saturdays, when you don't have a live class, you have a drop-in session by 6 p.m. West African time. Now, you don't have to join the both of them. You can pick the most convenient one, join it. And of course, the drop-in sessions are also always recorded. Now, what is the timeline for this program as well as the business analysis program? The timeline is 8 months. So you have 6 months learning in class and then 2 months of internship. However, that does not mean you have to wait 8 months to be able to land a job. We actually have a lot of people who have landed jobs during the course of the training, and I'll be talking about them shortly. So let's move on. Now, what are the different careers you can start upon completing this program? My colleague Moses, he started talking about them a little bit. You can become a Scrum Master, all right? You can become an Agile coach like myself. You can become an Agile project manager like myself. You can become a technical Scrum Master like myself. You can become a Scrum team facilitator, a lean Agile coach, a project coordinator, a lean project manager, whatsoever it is that you want to, get into, as long as it requires you managing projects. There's so many different career paths. So you're not just boxed into, oh, I'm a project manager. Oh, I learned project management. There's so many things that you can do with your skills. Now, you must also build a portfolio to showcase your skills. Very, very important, which is why we also prioritize project-based learning here at Analytics. You need to have a portfolio. If you're looking to land that job that is going to offer you 6 figures, okay, it's not magic. Yes, we have helped over 3,500 people land a job. How did we do that? There's a strategy. It's tested and trusted. I'm going to be talking about the strategy shortly, but part of the strategy is having a portfolio. I want you to think about your portfolio like a showroom. When you want to buy a car, you go to the car dealership, you're able to look at the cars that they have. You're even able to test drive and say, I like the engine. I like the sound of this car. Let me get this one. That's what your portfolio does for you as well. Now, let me show you what this person's portfolio looks like. This is one of our participants here. at Analytics. Her name is Elizabeth. So sorry, give me a minute. I'm trying to open up this link. Okay, fantastic. Uh, so this is Elizabeth's portfolio. This is what our portfolio looks like. And she built this portfolio while she was with us. In fact, all of the projects that are housed in this portfolio, she worked on all these projects in class. Okay. Now that is me just showing you and telling you that, it's not just you coming to class to come and understand the theory. You're actually going to be working on projects, and all these projects, you're going to use them to build a portfolio to show recruiters what you can actually do. Now, all of these on this portfolio, she has everything that she has worked on linked. She's able to show them, what, this is the total approved budget for this project was $1.8 million. And she shows them how she allocated the funds for the project, fixed cost or fixed expenses, direct costs, indirect costs, contingency costs. She's showing them, she's able to break down all of these costs, and it is linked in the portfolio. So any recruiter, once she adds this portfolio to her CV, any recruiter that is taking a look at her CV can actually open this portfolio, access it, and take a look at the kind of work that she has done. And this also increases your chances of landing an interview. All right. So that's just an example of a project manager's portfolio. Let's move on to business analysis. So for my BAs in the house, what are the things you need to learn? What are the things you need to know in order for you to be an effective business analyst? Now, first off, before we go into the key learning areas, I also just want to very briefly talk about the role of a business analyst in an organization. Now, business analysts are problem solvers, okay? You solve problems for organizations. You optimize processes. In every organization, there are three pillars. You have the people, you have the technology, and then you have the processes. All right, now as a business analyst, you are focused, laser focused on the processes. Every organization has hundreds of processes. It could be the process of generating revenue. It could be the process of taking customer orders. It could be the process of, admitting patients. It could be the process of collecting patient information. So this also cuts across different sectors or different industry. Healthcare, e-commerce, retail, fashion, whatever industry it is, right? There are processes in that industry. Even here at Analytics, we have a lot of processes. Now, what that means is we also have our business intelligence analysts, our business analysts in-house, working on our processes for us. So that being said, your job is not just to fix broken processes, but sometimes you walk into organizations, you walk into businesses, you're able to look at how things are currently working in that organization and how you can make it better, not just for the organization, but also for the customers of that organization. So let me use a very, very simple example to explain this. Say, let me pick somebody from this call to use, let's pick a name. So we have Aisha. Aisha has a business. Aisha is currently running a bakery. Let's use a bakery. Aisha is currently running a bakery. She has a small bakery. And, a bakery is one of the best in town, in Manchester right now. Aisha's bakery, Aisha's streets. It's a physical, it's a physical bakery. It's a physical store. It's on one of the streets. And people love to come in to, buy pastries, cakes, and stuff from Aisha's bakery. So because she's getting a lot of good and wonderful reviews, Aisha's business starts to grow. Now, people also start to order. So a lot of people cannot just come into the bakery because they are on different parts of the of Manchester. Some people are even in the office. Sometimes they order from their office. Now, the process of ordering would be that they pick up their phone, Aisha's number, Aisha's bakery number. The name is Aisha's Bakery. So the bakery number is online. They pick up their phone, they put a call across, and they call. Now, Aisha has customer representatives. Aisha has a receptionist that take calls, and they have a huge ledger right in front of them. So the receptionist has a huge ledger right in front of them where they take orders. So once they pick up the phone, they're taking your order manually. Okay, so what do you want? Okay, you want bread. You want banana bread. You want a lemon loaf. They're taking down your orders manually. They're asking you, oh, okay, do you have any allergies? They're taking that down, and then they're asking for your address, your name, and so on and so forth. Very cumbersome, right? Now, remember, because Aisha's bakery is such a wonderful bakery, our treats are so nice, our business starts to grow. Now, Aisha used to process maybe 50 orders per day before on a good day. And now she's doing 200 orders, 300 orders. And now Aisha starts to get bad reviews. Why? Orders are getting mixed up because the phone is constantly ringing. You can imagine. It's like the phone is constantly ringing. People are picking up the phone and taking orders. Everything that requires a human being to manually, repetitive tasks like that are prone to errors. We're all humans, right? You could get tired and someone says, "Oh, I'm allergic to nuts," and you forget to write that. And then when you're packing that person's order, you pack something that has nuts in it. So now I shall starts to get bad reviews because we're mixing up customers' orders, we're not delivering the right thing, delivery is taking too long, and things like that. And Aisha is like, what is going wrong in my business? I mean, my treats. She tastes that cake. And it's like, my cakes are nice. My treats are nice. I've not changed my recipe. What is going on? And then comes Bridget. Bridget is a business analyst. Bridget walks into Aisha's bakery one day. It's so busy. And Bridget is just sitting down. She actually came in as a customer. She's trying to order something. And then she's just seeing the chaos that is going on. And then Bridget walks up to Aisha and Bridget says, "Hi, there is a better way we can handle this because your business is, I mean, it's so big right now. We need to be able to scale. As your business is growing, we also need to be able to grow with your business. So you can't keep taking orders manually like this. That is the problem with your process right now. Okay. How about we make it better? So, how about you build a simple website? Nothing too serious. Just build a simple website where on a daily basis you have a staff, you have somebody that you have said, this is this person's job. That person is able to upload the treat of the day, red velvet cake, all the pastries that are available, and so on and so forth, as well as, uploading the numbers. So there's an inventory management system on this simple website. Work with me. So now, Bridget is like, how it will work is your customers are able to go on that website and then order their, red velvet cake. I want this delivered to my office by 2 p.m. and put a note and say, please, I'm allergic to dairy. I'm allergic to sugar. I'm allergic to nuts, So you're able to attach that note and, make payments on the website. Now, all of this without human interaction. You're not talking to anybody. You just go on there and you make your payments, you place your order. And then Aisha gets an email with all the details. Nobody is sitting down with a pen and paper to try and write it down and write it fast. And then because they're hurrying, they can't even see their handwriting later on. Aisha gets an email with every single thing about the details of this, order, this customer's order, and she just packs it and ships it. Now, this is a better process. And this, in a nutshell, is the job of a business analyst. Now, what Bridget has just done for Aisha's business is she has saved her business and she has helped her grow. Okay, because your business is growing. There are things that you were doing before. You cannot continue like that because if not, it's just going to flop. All right. That's an example of the role of a business analyst. If you're still listening to me, put a 3 in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat. So I know that I still have people listening to me and people that understand everything that I just said. Okay, Aisha, of course, Aisha is listening. Of course, Bridget is listening as well. 3. We have Iki, we have Rachel, we have I Billions John. Okay, fantastic. I still have a lot of people listening to me. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the job of a business analyst. And of course, that's a very simple process. It's not always very simple like that. Okay, there are complex processes in organizations. There are also simple processes. Now, what do you need to know to become a business analyst? We start off with process mapping. So you need to learn how to map out processes. I mean, that is your core responsibility as a business analyst. You optimize processes. You're a process person. In order for you to optimize a process, you need to know how to map it out. Okay. So when we talk about process mapping, it's like sitting down and, taking a pen, and you pick up a pen and then you pick up a piece of paper, and then you are looking at this process, you're visualizing it and you're sketching it. Now, because of technology, we've made it so much simpler for you. You don't need a pen and you don't need a piece of paper. You'll be learning process mapping using tools, software like Lucidchart and Draw.io. These are tools that are here to make it very easy for you. You are able to just map out processes very fast on your laptop. All right. Now we have realized that we're playing on a global scale. This is the global market. It's not just localized to one region. It's not just the UK. It's not just the US. It's not just Nigeria. It's not just South Africa. It's the global market. Now, recruiters, when they're looking to hire business analysts, are they just looking for someone who will just say, oh, hi, my name is Bridget. I know how to optimize processes. The answer to that question is no. Recruiters want you to have more complex skills. Now, what are the additional skills that you need to have as a business analyst? And what are skills that would even make you a better business analyst? Now, a lot of times, in order for you to optimize a process, yes, I gave a simple example earlier with Aisha's bakery, but sometimes in order for you to optimize a process, it's not surface value. It's not you just looking at that process and saying, this is what is wrong with this process. Let's make it better, right? Sometimes it's very complex. Sometimes you are also sitting down and you're scratching your head and you're like, what is going on? What is wrong with this process? Where is the problem coming from? Right? You're struggling to understand it. Sometimes, in order for you to understand the problem with the process, because before you can make something better, you need to understand the problem. Now, before you can understand the problem, you may need to take a look at the business data of that organization. Before you can understand the problem, sometimes you may need to take a look at the business data of that organization. Now, recruiters want you to have data knowledge. You should be able to understand data, at least surface level. They're not asking you to be a guru, but you should be able to understand data so that when you take a look at the business data of an organization, you can understand it, you can make sense of it, you can analyze it, you can interpret it and say, aha, this is where the problem is coming from. This is where the loophole in this process is. And this is how we can make it better. Okay. So because of that, we went into the data analytics program, one of the programs we offer, and we borrowed these three powerhouses from them. I was speaking to someone yesterday about business analysis. And when I finished, the person was like, wow, this is a powerhouse. Yes, business analysis. It pains me to say that, but business analysis is a powerhouse. It pains me because I'm not a business analyst. All right. But business analysis is a powerhouse. We went in there and we borrowed Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Now you're going to learn how to use these tools just the way a data analyst would. Now, what that means for you is that you're also able to work in some roles as a data analyst. Business analysis is very versatile, okay? It really is a powerhouse. Now, we didn't stop there. We also went into the Agile Project Management Program. And we borrowed 2 courses from them: Project Initiation Planning and Agile and Scrum for Projects. So now we're going to teach you how to think like a project manager as well. Why did we do this? The reason is simple. Sometimes you propose a process in an organization and it could be a project, whether it's a mini project or a simple project. When I talked about Aisha's bakery and Bridget earlier, when Bridget said, Aisha, how about we build a website? That website is a project. Of course, it's coming from the business analyst, Bridget. It's a process. She's saying, how about we streamline this process? We're able to standardize this process and make things better. But that new process that she's proposing is a project. Now, what if Aisha doesn't have a project manager? And then Aisha also doesn't maybe have the funds to hire a project manager, or they're project managers, but they are busy. So Aisha will say, Bridget, you brought this idea. How about you go ahead to execute this idea for us? Now, in that case, we are teaching you how you can initiate projects like a project manager in business analysis, okay? How you can plan projects, your budget, your Gantt chart, all the wonderful things I explained earlier. How you can also execute projects like a project manager. Now, what does this mean for you? It means that upon completion of this training, you can land a job as a project manager. Okay. And then from numbers 5 down to 9, we have your core business analysis courses: software development lifecycle, your requirements fundamentals. How do you gather requirements? What are the elicitation techniques? What are the types of requirements that you have? Functional requirements, business requirements, technical requirements, and so on and so forth, right? Stakeholder analysis and engagement. How do you analyze your different stakeholders? Because you will be liaising with different stakeholders. So how do you analyze these people, engage them? And finally, the world is constantly evolving. I want to also make sure that you are not made redundant. I mentioned this earlier. I want to make sure that as the world is evolving, you are also evolving. So you'll be learning how you can utilize AI in your role as a business analyst. All right, leverage AI to your advantage. Now, of course, AI is also embedded in the project management program. So my project managers, okay, you're not missing out. All right. If you're a fellow project manager, aspiring project manager, you're not missing out. But we have ChatGPT for business analysis. You're able to learn how you can leverage AI in your role as a business analyst. The learning structure is the same. Live classes on Saturdays, self-paced learning, and the timeline is also 8 months. Now, if you know initially, you did not know the career path you were veering towards. You didn't know if you wanted to go for business analysis or project management, but now you have made up your mind. I want you to put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5. So I know that before you didn't know, but now you know. Put a 5 in the chat. If you have made up your mind on which of these two career paths to go for. I'm looking in the chat, is pretty quiet. Inky says 5. Thank you. Happy I was able to provide that clarity. iPhone says 5. Bridget says 5. Simon, okay. Oh, we have a lot of people. Rachel says she'll log in right back. Rachel, before you drop off, make sure to fill the attendance form. So even if you miss anything, you can have the recording to watch later. All right. Chinoye says 5 as well. Fantastic. All right. Let's get right into it. I'm not going to ask you whether it's project management or business analysis first. I have a feeling you'll break my heart. But let's go back to business analysis and let me emphasize something. Now, with the business analysis program, you're able to land a job as a business analyst. You're able to land a job as a project manager, and you're also able to land some jobs as a data analyst. So it's 3 in 1. All right. It's 3 in 1. Now let's move on to the different careers you can start upon completing this program. You can get into process automation. So you can become a process automation analyst, a business architect, a business systems analyst, IT business analyst, process improvement analyst, business process analyst. Like, so the long story short is you're not boxed, whether it is project management you go for or business analysis. A lot of people think, oh, I took a business analysis training, I can only apply to business analyst jobs. Like if they say, oh, we're looking for a business analyst, that's the only job I can apply to. No, a lot of companies, they change the nomenclature of their jobs, right? So for example, here at Analytics, it's not called HR, it's called people analysts. All right. So if you are an HR professional and you're searching for a job, and we have a job opening here at Analytics for a people analyst, you might see it and say, oh, I'm looking for HR, I'm a HR professional. I'm looking for HR manager. And that's how you miss out on the job. It's the same thing. It's just nomenclature. All right. Some people say talent acquisition analysts, right? I just use that as an example. So for business analysis and also for project management, there's so many different nomenclature. So you're able to land a job in any of these fields. Just know that you're still doing your core business analysis, processes, your core responsibilities as a business analyst. The title is just a little different. All right. Now let's get right into it. We also have a business analyst portfolio linked here. I'm not going to open it because we're pressed for time, but make sure once you get the slide, you can go over it yourself. Now, if I have people who are still a bit confused, it's okay. All right. There's some people you're just hearing me and you're a little confused. You don't know if you want to go for business analysis or you want to go for project management. What I'm going to do for you right now, I'm going to do you a solid. I'm going to put in the chat a link to this quiz. Very fun quiz. Is going to take you. Okay, Rachel says she filled it already. Fantastic. So very fun quiz. Is going to take you 2 minutes tops, right? And you're able to figure out the best career path, whether you should go for project management or you should go for business analysis. So go ahead to click on that link. It's going to take you less than 2 minutes and you're able to fill the form. All right. My colleague Ianolua also just put the link to the quiz in the chat. Take that quiz and discover the best career path for you. Now, what is a strategy that will land you a job in 2026? The first thing you want to do is you want to learn. All right. Identify the career path you want to get into. Is it project management? Is it business analysis? And then register for the program. The next thing you want to do is you want to position yourself strategically. Very strategic. You don't want to be all over the place. You have to be very, very strategic with your packaging. We call it packaging. I'm a Nigerian, okay? I'm from Nigeria. So how do you package yourself, right? How do you package yourself so that you are employable? I'm going to be speaking more about this in coming slides. But the next thing you're doing, you're positioning yourself strategically, and then you're also applying like a machine. It's a numbers game. I tell people, all right? You don't just apply to one job and relax and say, wow, I've applied to a job. Let me wait for them to call me back. You are applying to at least 10 jobs every day. Okay. 10 quality applications. I don't mean just apply anyhow. Apply with precision very well, tailor your application to fit that particular, job description and apply. You're tapping into hidden job markets, paid job markets. That's also an added benefits that you get from our program. And that's, my people, is how you're able to land a job. All right. That's how we've been able to help over 3,500 people. Now, let's take a look at some success stories. A lot of people have been listening to me. It sounds great, but you're asking yourself, I'm a nurse. I have a background in healthcare. I'm a midwife. I'm a teacher. I'm a farmer. I don't even have any tech experience at all. I'm a carer. I work in healthcare. I work in, I'm a healthcare assistant, whatever it is that you are. And you're saying, are you sure I can do this thing that Elizabeth is talking about? I want to show you some success stories. All right. So we're going to highlight two of them. We have so many, but again, because of time, because I could sit here today and spend 5 hours on this session talking about our success stories, and I would still not even get to half of it. So I don't want to waste that time. I'm going to highlight two, one from project management, one from business analysis. So you see that people have done it before you. And I even added their images to my slide. So you can see that they have one head. They don't have two. They have one head, like myself and like yourself. Let's take a look at the story of Esther. Esther went from being a carer in the UK, someone with no tech background whatsoever. Even while she was in Nigeria, she did not have a tech background at all. She went from that and she, migrated to the UK and she landed a job. So when she got to the UK, of course, a lot of us are familiar, at first she has to start with a care job and so on and so forth, especially if you don't have a tech career. Okay. Before you didn't secure a job before you got in. So the first thing Esther did was Esther learned. Again, we're going back to our strategy. Remember, Esther joined the 10 Analytics Agile Project Management Program in April 2025. Happy to announce to everybody on this call that Esther was in my class, in my own class. Okay. So this is a very personal story that I'm sharing with you. It's very personal to me because I saw it happen live and direct. All right. And this has happened across different cohorts. So Esther joined the program in April. So she identified the program she wanted. She got into Agile Project Management. She started in April. The next thing she did was she packaged herself. We worked on her CV. We revamped her CV for her. She joined all the mentorship sessions. I prepped her for multiple interviews, which is another added benefit that I'll be talking about much later. Every single time Esther got an interview, Esther would text me. Esther would say, Elizabeth, I just got a new interview. I say, okay, let's set it up. Let's, put it on my calendar, book a session. Let's prep you for this interview. Right? She got prepped for multiple interviews. It wasn't one, it wasn't two, it wasn't three, And then the next thing she of course, she was applying. So she was also applying to multiple jobs from the 10 Analytics job board, which is also another added benefit I'll be talking about later. We supplied Esther with a lot of jobs to apply to, both in the UK and in the US. All right. And she was applying like a machine. And, finally, on the 1st of July 2025, I got a message from Esther and she landed a job, working with the civil service in the UK on a hybrid schedule, 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. Now, Esther's testimonial is linked on this slide. There's a video. You literally hear Esther, speaking, you see her talking. So make sure to fill the attendance form once again. Once you get the slide, you can watch the video, watch the full interview with Esther. Let's take a look at Judith. Judith was also a carer in the UK and she had a background in HR. Okay. When I talk about regardless of your background, you're able to get in. Judith was, she worked in the HR space in Nigeria and She also, when she moved to the UK, she was studying and she was also working as a carer. Now, the first thing Judith also did, she learned. She identified a program. She went for business analysis and she completed a program in March of 2024. And she also packaged herself, just like Esther, tailored her CV, joined mentorship sessions. She got prepped for interviews, and then she was applying like a machine as well. So all the jobs that we were sending to Judith was applying. Judith was applying to a lot of jobs, and that is how Judith landed a job. Now, I neglected to mention that Esther landed a job while in the program, because if you remember, the timeline for both programs is 8 months. 6 months learning in class, 2 months of internship. Esther got a job. Esther joined Tenalytics in April. She landed a job in July. That's less than 4 months apart. All right. Now, Judith joined in March and she landed a job in July as well. So actually, Judith completed the program before she landed the job. This is just to tell you that people's timelines are different, but one thing is certain: you will land a job. All right. We also have the full interview with Judith linked on my slide. So once you get the slide, make sure to go over them. Now, this is just also doubling down on Esther's testimony. This was when she reached out, very happy. You can take a screenshot, you can see how very joyous she was just to share that she got the job, thanking the program coordinator, Sophia, thanking myself, and all of that. Now, I'm not going to delve, deep into this, but just to also let you know that these are real people with real results and real impact. This is how we are moving people from care. We're moving people from no background in tech to a tech job. All right, now let's move on. What do you need? Again, I talked about the strategy. I talked about the technical skills. Now, here at Analytics, in order for you to get a job, we have a very simple formula. It's just simple addition, right? It's T plus E. What that means is your technical skills plus your employability skills, right? Your technical skills are your Jira, your Trello, your Confluence, your Power BI, SQL, and so on and so forth. But your technical skills are not a lot, it's not enough to land you a job. All right. You also need to have your employability skills as well, because your technical skills only 50% of what you need. Oh, yes, you know how to use Jira. Okay. Anybody can know how to use Jira. Oh, I know how to use Power BI. Okay. Anybody can know how to use Power BI. How do you stand out in the job market? That's the other 50%. Let's take a look at the employability skills. Now, here at Analytics, we have 8 employability services that we offer, 8 of them. The first one is revamping your CV. So from the second month with us, we take a look at your CV. We'll ask you to submit your CV. We'll take a look at it and we'll revamp it for you and then send it back to you. Now, that's the CV that you use to apply to jobs. All right. So you don't have to worry. Whatever it is that you have now, we're going to ask you, don't worry, submit it. And then we ask you questions, you answer your questions, and we revamp your CV, make sure it is ATS friendly so that when you apply to jobs, you are able to actually get to the desk of a recruiter. Next, we teach you how you can also optimize your LinkedIn profile. All right. Building in public is very important. A lot of people, myself included, we get jobs via LinkedIn. Every day you go on your LinkedIn, I open my LinkedIn DM, there's one recruiter or the other, trying to say, oh, we're looking for a project manager. I don't know if you're interested in, coming on board. We also have a lot of our participants that they landed their jobs this way. Imagine just going about your daily activities. You're just minding your business. And then you get a notification and you pick up your phone. And it's from LinkedIn. And you open this phone, you open this message, and you see that it's a recruiter telling you, oh, I came across your profile. I was really impressed. We have an opening for a business analyst or a project manager, and we don't know if this is something you'll be interested in. If you're interested, please, can you tell us when you'll be available? We would like to have a conversation with you. Just like that, you got an interview. You didn't do anything. You didn't apply to a job. We are going to teach you how you can also attain that. Next, navigating the job markets. This is where we bring, seasoned professionals, people who have years and years of experience in the field, right? 8 years of experience, 10 years of experience. They're able to come and teach you how to navigate the job markets. Now, we also bring, we bring people who have, pass through the program just like yourself, right? People like Esther, people like Judith, people that have taken the course and landed jobs. So it's not just that they took the course, they took the program, and they landed jobs with the skills that they got from the program. And then, we bring these people to come and tell you what they did, how they did it, so that you can also learn from them. A lot of us on here, we're just, migrating. You're just moving to the UK, you're just moving to the US, you're just moving to Canada. It's a new job market. You don't know how to navigate. Now we're going to teach you how to do that. The next is interview preparation. So once we revamp your CV for you, we teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn. Best believe you're going to be getting a lot of interviews. All right. As you're applying to jobs, they're calling you back for interviews. Now, a good CV is only one foot in the door. You're not in yet. You just opened the door and you peeped. That's what it means to have a good CV. Now, then I say, okay, come and sit down and answer some questions. You need to be able to defend that CV. All right. So when you get called back for an interview, you can book a one-on-one session with a professional here at Analytics with your facilitator, and that person will prep you for the interview. Now, it doesn't matter how many interviews you have. If you have 100 interviews, we will prep you 100 times, as many times as we need to prep you in order for you to land your dream job. All right. That is how you are able to, of course, increase your chances of landing a job, because we're able to tell you, give you specific questions that you can prepare for, responses to those questions, how you can answer questions, so that we say, okay, Aisha, once the recruiter asks you this is how you should answer. This is what you should say, and then when you go into the main interview, you're 70% prepared, right? Next, we have the job reference letter, where we provide you with a recommendation letter in order for you to land the job. So even after the interview, even if you do very well, a lot of these huge organizations, they need somebody to vouch for you. They want to make sure that you are who you say you are. If Bridget says she's a business analyst with 4 years of experience and she has consulted here at Analytics or at our partner company, they want to reach out to us and say, hi, we have somebody here. Her name is Bridget, and she said that she worked with you guys. Is this true? And what can you tell us about Bridget? Now we'll be able to provide you with that recommendation letter that seals the deal for you to land you that job. Next is on the job support. So if you land a job and your first month, you're still wondering how you get some tasks, you're still shaking, you don't know how to, go about certain tasks, not to worry. Okay. We are also here to help you provide on-the-job support as you navigate your new career. Next, we have the weekly mentorship sessions, like the name implies, mentorship that happens every week just to get you in the right headspace. And finally, last but not the least, we have our Upwork optimization sessions, where we teach you how to optimize your Upwork profile. So just the way we teach you how to optimize your LinkedIn, we also teach you how to optimize your Upwork. Now, this is for people who are interested in freelancing. You want to have multiple gigs, work contract roles for different organizations. We're going to teach you how you can do that using Upwork as well. All right. Now, this is just a snapshot of, our job board. We pay a lot of money. Okay. We pay a lot of money to get access to premium jobs that you will not find on LinkedIn, you'll not find on Indeed, you'll not find on Glassdoor. We pay to get them. All right. You subscribe to a lot of these paid platforms like UK visa jobs and so on and so forth. Now, what we do on a weekly basis is we go on these paid platforms, we script them and send you the links to these different jobs to apply to. So we are able to tell you, does this job offer sponsorship? Where is what's the location of this job? Is it a remote job or a hybrid job? Or, you have all the information and you have the link there. All you have to do is click on the link and then you're able to apply for the job. Now, another added benefit is that you have access to a personalized AI assistant called Oluko. Oluko in, Yoruba means teacher. So you have an AI assistant that is also teaching you while you're taking your program. You have your own personal. It's not ChatGPT. It's not ChatGPT that everybody and their mother uses, right? This is the AI assistant for the 1% of the 1%, exclusive access. Only Analytics participants have access to this AI assistant. And this AI assistant is also able to prep you for your interviews. So We have trained this AI to be able to prep you, to be able to teach you, to be able to assist you with your work, with your learning work while you're learning. If you have questions, you can simply ask Oluko. Oluko is always there 247 to answer your questions. Again, only available to people who register for a program, whether it's for the project management program or the business analysis program with us. A lot more, success stories. Look at Lois. Lois, she joined the business analysis program and she got a job as a project manager, okay, in the UK, because she utilized the project management training and the skills that she got in the business analysis training. So it is very, very possible. All right. So let's not dwell too much on all of this. These are so many different, success stories. We're just going to gloss over them. We also have people who are in Nigeria and they are working remotely for organizations in the US or in the UK. All right. Once you get the slides, you can just go ahead to take a look at them. So let's just gloss over them. So many of them. Now, what do you need to do to get started? We have a new class starting on the 6th of December, and you're able to join in, okay? You're able to register for the business analysis program or the project management program. Now we've got into the fun part. I want to check how many people I still have on the call because this is not for everybody. All right. Okay. We have a fair number. We have more than the amount of people we have on this call right now is more than the available slots. So let's get right into it. Right now, by virtue of you being on this call, Telalytics is 5 years old, okay, this year, and we are giving back to the community. We also have a lot of people, a lot of VCs that came on board, and we are offering a scholarship to 150 people. Currently, we have 131 people that have made payments, okay? 131 people have made payment. Now, this scholarship, like I said, 50% scholarship for 150 people. What that means is that 150 people are able to, instead of paying full price, they're able to pay half price for the program. And they're also able to split their payments for as many as 4 times during the course of their trading. I'm going to explain further. Now, all our programs are priced at 1,000 US dollars currently. Okay, right now, all our programs are priced at 1,000. From the 1st of December, the price goes up to 1,200. Now, because of the scholarship, 50% off. Instead of $1,000, you get to pay $500. All right. And you're able to pay in installments if you want. All right. Now, this discounts, like I said, we have 131 people that have made payments. That leaves us with 19 slots. So the amount of people on this call is a lot more. It's almost like times 2 of the slots that we have. So it is really grab your copy now. So what it means is that there is no timeline for this discount. Once 19 people make payments, if 19 people make payment today before 12 a.m., the discount is over. And then once you try to make payments, you see $1,000 on the website. Now, let me walk you through how you can secure your spots. All right. My colleagues are going to be putting the link to secure your spot in the chat. All you have to do is click on that link, or you can also just look at what I'm doing. I'm going to show you how to go about it. All right. Now we have, just give me a minute. I think I'm having a glitch. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second and then I will share again. All right. My screen is frozen. Give me a minute. Let's see. Okay, stop sharing. I'm going to share in a minute. So I'm just going to walk you through what I'm going to do right now. We are at the tail end of the session. I just need to show you what you need to do in order to secure your spots, okay? So how do you go about it? How do you secure your spot? How do you key into the scholarship before the pricing of the program goes up? Let's get back on Zoom, okay? And give me a minute, just trying to share my screen back. All right, here we are. Okay, fantastic. So let me know if you can see my screen. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Just want to make sure. Anybody? Can anyone see my screen? Okay, I see a question from AE. What if you want to pay, but you're not ready to start till February? I'll get to that, okay? I will talk about that while I explain this. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for acknowledging that you can see my screen. So the link my colleagues are dropping in the chat, once you click on it, you see a list of all the programs that we offer. All right. This is it, all 10 of them. Now I want you to block out the noise, okay? Just laser focus on the program you want to go for, whether it is business analysis or it is project management. So if you're going for business analysis, that's the second one. If you're going for project management, you need to scroll a little bit and then you have project management right here. All right. Forget about all the other programs. Just go for project management or business analysis. So let's just use the project management program as an example. So once you identify your program of interest, you want to click on Buy Now. Once you click on Buy Now, it opens the program description. Excuse me. Every single thing you need to know about the program, the description, the curriculum, all the things you'll be learning, your instructors, the people that are going to be taking you through this program, your job opportunities, the job opportunities available to you if you take this program, and so on and so forth. You have all the information, your curriculum, everything. You can take your time, sit down, and go through it. Now, right here, you have this Enroll Now button. You want to click on Enroll Now, and then you'll be prompted to create a free account. It's going to take you less than 1 minute. We just need your full name, your email address, and your phone number. That's all we need. All right. You create your free account with your full name, your email address, and your phone number, and then you're able to confirm your enrollment. Now, you get to select your preferred cohorts. We have 2 cohorts available, but I'm going to teach you a trick for the people who want to start in February. However, this only applies to from December to February. After February, you cannot use this discount. Now, 50% off. You get to select when you want to start. Do you want to start with the next class starting on the 8th or the 6th of December, or the January class starting on the 10th of January? Now, for AE, I'm reducing the volume of my voice because this is a cheat code. So for AE, or for people like AE who want to start in February, but you want to take advantage of this discount right now, you want to secure your spot right now, but start in February, there is a trick that you can do. I hope I don't get sanctioned for this, but you can register for the January class and then defer to February. All right. Very simple. You're able to do this at no extra cost. So what it just means is that you make payment right now, register for the January class, and then you just defer to February. You say, you know what, I'm busy in January. I'd like to start in February instead. Now, you're not paying $1,200. You're still paying $500, but you're starting in February. That is the trick. Anyways, back to this presentation. So you're able to select when you would like to start, your preferred cohort. If you want to start in December or you want to start in January. So once you select that, you have your payment options available. Now you get this in different currencies. So if you're in Canada, you can switch this to Canadian dollars. If you are in the UK, you can switch this to pounds, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to leave that in US dollars. Now, I said that the pricing of the program original price is $1,000. You can see right here. And instead of $1,000, you're able to pay $500. Now you're able to split your payments for as many as 4 months. So what that means is you can decide to pay all at once. You can pay 2 times, you can pay 3 times, or you can pay 4 times. So what it means is you can start your classes right now. You can choose to start in December by paying at least $125. Right now, you pay $125 right now, and you're starting your classes in December. That's how you secure your spot using the discounted price. All right. So just select the payment option that best suits you. For people who are looking to pay once or twice, instead of paying $500, you get an additional discount. All right. You get to pay $475 instead. So it's just a little something for people who are paying once or twice. But if you're paying 3 times or 4 times, you will be paying $500. However, you're splitting it across 3 installments or 4 installments. So just select the installmental plan that suits you. I'm going to select 4 months, and then you click on apply discounts. Let's just give that a minute. So it's going to apply your discount, and then you're able to confirm your information. So you just want to come on this screen, confirm that your information is correct, confirm that you have read the Analytics terms and conditions, and click on pay now. And just like that, you're able to pay using your card. Now, it doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to worry about converting your money. If you're in Korea, if you click on this link from Korea, you see it in your local currency. You see the pricing in your local currency. If you're in South Africa, you see the pricing in South African rands, okay? So you are able to pay with your card, easy peasy. It's going to take you less than 3 minutes and you are good to go. All right, so let me just check the chat. We have come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We still have so many slides, all right? So many slides left that you would love to see. So make sure to fill the attendance form so you can have access to all of this, all right? We also have our hackathon coming up, but I will not talk about that. Just fill the attendance form. So I'm going to be checking the chat right now to see if I have any questions from anybody. Okay, so I don't have any questions. I only have from AE. I already answered. So what I want you to do right now, again, we have more people than we have slots. All right. As you're listening to me right now, click on the link and go ahead to secure your spots. Okay. Click on the link, make the minimum deposit, and you're able to start whether you want to start in December or you want to start in January. All right. So since there are no more questions for me in the chats, thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. I will look forward to seeing you in either the project management class or the business analysis class come December or January. AE, I see your hand up. You might want to type your question in the chat if you have a question for me. Chinoye says, can a PM perform or execute the BA role? Okay, A is typing. I'm going to wait for you. Now, to answer your question, Chinoye, there are overlaps, but sometimes you would need additional training to execute the responsibilities of a business analyst. All right. You might need to take some additional courses. Okay. But yes, there is that overlap. As a PM, surface level, you are able to carry out some of the roles or some of the responsibilities that a business analyst would, but you will not be as good as someone who has that training. All right. Because remember, there are data analytical tools that a business analyst would learn that a project manager would not learn. All right. So I'm still waiting for your question. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes and then we'll wrap up the session. All right. If you have questions, put it in the chat. I'm taking questions right now before I end the session. When filling your form, I see how did you hear about the program? And it's a compulsory question. If you referred someone, how will they put your name? So you don't need to, you can just put friends and family. You don't need to put the name of the person that referred you. All right. So just put friends or family. If you got to hear about us from your friend or from your family, you can just put friends and family in there. Promise says, please, when can I make a down payment to pay for installments? Promise, right now, right this second. Yanoluwa, if you're here, please share the link to make payments with Promise right now. Promise, once this link is shared, click on the link, okay? Right now, it's going to be shared with you in a second. Click on the link immediately and then go ahead to, make payments. Bridget says, I have been waiting for a clarity call for days now, but so far I am kind of happy with your presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that, Bridget. Go ahead to secure your spot. You can secure your spot and still have a clarity session later on, but make sure to secure your spot first so that by the time you have your clarity session, the slots are not done. All right. So Promise, my colleague Iano just put a link in the chat. Get 50% scholarship now. Click on that link and make payments. Go ahead to secure your spots. So you don't have to wait, because if you wait till tomorrow, I don't know. We have a lot of people on the call. A lot of people are already making payments. So I can see one person made payments. I don't know who you are, but the slots just dropped from 19 to 18. So people, the clock is ticking. All right. So please go ahead, secure your spots, and then I will see you in class in December or in January. Thank you so much for listening to me, and please enjoy the rest of your day. People like Bridget, go ahead to secure your spots while you wait for your clarity session. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, and bye for now.